All right, so as we circle around to basically what we're coming up to is T-Knock, the people that were doing Donald Trump's like media manipulation shit. I wonder if that Veritas guy was part of that. So essentially, what they get outfitted with speakers, okay? And they're whiny little pedophiles about it. So essentially, right now, what they got themselves into is a yearly pedo bang league, and yeah, they're like not doing that because essentially they don't have Donald Trump in office right now, looking the other way at that shit. And so now they're like, you know, they essentially are looking to get like a transfer of their speaker to an agent system, and that agent system that they were using essentially is a Mormon Twilight. But then they come up with all these reasons to essentially sit around and torture one person into suicide using sound. And that's what they were doing when they weren't pedo banging. And so one of the things about pedo bang Veritas is that all along the while somebody was researching what they were doing and wondering why the fuck they would be using undercover CIA agent systems. And you see that, you know, the FBI's been honest about using Pegasus, and that all the pedo banger Veritasuses were being handed out those agent systems that essentially have an access to a Veritas or to a Pegasus, and that then they were going around preventing it, doing essentially what the dark web's like information prevention system is, where they would erase articles as they were being written and shit, and how they would place a thing that would keep a constant scan with some keywords that would pertain to the stuff that they were trying to keep silenced in like the dark webs. What the Pegasus program has that. So anybody that they would find in journalism, see, Donald Trump basically just had those Veritas guys and recruiting a bunch of people to be erasing journalists' computer articles as they were writing them, and that a lot of those people got like more modern like sound speakers with the AI like terminal kind of, and that Pegasus program gives them the ability of also accessing those speakers, because the more modern AI terminal comes with a pair of speakers, and that a lot of those like newspaper outlets were getting those because people were hacking away their stuff and preventing the computers from being used and shit. And so the solution was for them to get some of this more modern stuff. So these like Project Veritas guys that are so used to having some sort of weird Republican explanation for everything that it's accepted in some sort of weird pedo banger Republican world, to be like, it's got a gray shirt on, and he's got his hat like that, and he doesn't have his pants tucked in, and then they like think that they're allowed to like erase people's shit. I mean, this is like what it is. They like prove that somebody's sex clubbing, but see, they were only proving that stuff to stupid, retarded, pedo bang Republicans. Hey, Dan, you were accepting those ideas. You see how their whole method basically outs people as highly psychotic pedophiles that focus on their victims. And so what are you guys sex clubbing for? You see, they do it through a dark web. there's no, the CIA, when they access the dark web, they essentially use a sex club profile because they don't just let regular old CIA be accessing dark webs in an undercover way. They have to use what exists. And that all these dumb pedo bangers were using like the Mormon Twilight that doesn't have a cover-up method. It has a look the other way method where all these dumb pedo bangers will see everybody periodically through the day. It'll be popping up everybody's pedo bang at their computer and shit. And that's not a cover-up. That's just Republicans not doing anything about all of their little minions going around raping and touching kids everywhere. That's not a cover-up system. And so now that intelligence isn't controlled by Don Trump pedobang, now TNOC, they're just used to like this regurgitated script of getting people that sit on the other side and accept their stupid ass retarded shit. And then they go around trying to silence journalists about like all of the stuff that they would never want anybody to know about. And then Project Pedobang Veritas sits around trying to dig up dirt like the Joe Biden's son stuff. That would have been Pedobang. Pedobang Veritas and their infrastructure network. And you see that if he would have brought that computer in, essentially to be getting that stuff off. This is what it is. I'll just go through this real fast. You see, if the president's son would have brought that computer to that person, he potentially would have been told that it would have been a secure. I mean, it would have happened during Donald Trump pedobang. It would have been like a CIA-style mission op at him to be convincing him, maybe he's a rich kid, basically. It wouldn't surprise me if he was being a skank or something. That's pretty common nowadays with most people and the rich people. In the rich people world, it's pretty common for people to be being a skank. And so the reality is it's kind of pretty, the whole idea is that the rich people nowadays, this is like where they talk about the pornography or something. Nowadays, everybody gets their meta pretty much known. And so they like avoid going to porn sites. And they avoid going to hookup sites. But if they're a skank, nowadays they like utilize these speaker dating systems, okay? And then that's like where then they usually record their own porn to whack off to. Because they don't want to go onto the regular porn sites. And so, whether that stuff's true or not, it's a common tale, okay, for rich people. So that's where, whether that happened or not, if he did do that stuff, then he was just being a skank. Huh? And in the liberal world, wives and fathers and stuff know that if you're in the limelight or something, you're not supposed to be a skank. But in the liberal world, people are a little more open sexually, and it happens, and nobody views anybody as like a horrible, rotten, horrible person for infidelities and stuff like that. But the reality is that if he does fall into that category, if that computer repair shop would have been told, this is like a what if, this is like an explanation, okay? He would have been told through a secure, it would have been behind the scenes, it would have been understood as like the government would have been helping him, where to take it. See, if he was involved with that type of stuff, like the hookup, the dating, the VIP dating hookup stuff, if he was involved with that, he wouldn't have been telling his daddy. He wouldn't have been asking his daddy. Somebody in that world would have pushed him to that. And that essentially it would have been like listed or something as like a wink wink insider kind of world, okay? It would have. And that as like helping with that kind of stuff. And so basically these Project Veritas guys, they do that type of shit. It's considered a psyop. They get into those 50 pedo banger, like, well, I mean, they're hookup sites. They get into those, and then they start, like, they find people to psyop liberal people. That's what the Veritas pedo bang does. The way that those are built is Veritas pedo bang finds people that are liberal negative pedo bang. So, and that essentially, that is that's like where inside there's still somewhat of a, inside of those VIP systems for hooking up and stuff, there's still cybersecurity in that with these, like, I call them TNOC systems. Those were like, had a secondary like development at a Donald Trump pedo bang administration to be sprucing them up with extra apps that gives them the ability of silencing dissidents and journalists and to be focusing on political opponents with specialized tools made to essentially do what Putin does in Russia. And so, if Project Pedo Bang Veritas doesn't like understand, Joe Biden's in office. Donald Trump is a pedo banger down in his Jeffrey Epstein castle. Right? And then he doesn't have any power over making decisions about any of you dumbass fucking retards. See, nobody in the Joe Biden administration gives a fuck about stupid pedo bang Veritas. Do they understand? Do they understand why that would be? See, when it comes to your guys' little theories and stuff, see, there's probably premier elite journalists, not stupid Veritas pedo bang, that if that idea ever existed, that if they just had to have people filling the husband holes on that stuff, then premier responsible monitored White House press corps would probably be the, and only select people, elite journalists, ones that practice ethics, ones that don't go pedo banging into somebody's cameras, ones that don't sit around with little groups holding down a button, letting their little Nazis do their little mouth fucking sound shit at everyone. See, elite journalists. Not Project Pedo Bang Veritas. You people are low grade, Sun Star, tabloid, stupid little pedo bang. That's all you people are. So nobody needs any of you. You people are useless. You people are biased in the most stupidest, retardedest way. Anything that comes out of your guys' mouth, it's all manipulated and makes no sense. And then you guys like to act dumb, and then you guys like to act like your guys' information is the only information available. And yeah, you can just go on ClearNet. And then some guy starts narking off all the stuff that you guys do. And then makes logical, rational explanations of that stuff. And then lays out his research methodologies. And what does Project Veritas pedo bang do? Oh, that's right. You guys voyeur on people. Then you guys manipulate information. And then you guys come out with some sort of like explanation that has everybody being some sex club psycho pedophile. Huh? Isn't that what you guys do? So, just remember that nobody actually needs your guys' QN and T knock fucking manipulated with your pedo air fucking intel anymore. Nobody needs that shit. Nobody needs any of you. And that, yeah, the government doesn't exist for you guys to have highly sophisticated, like, undercover CIA, like, profiles meant to be specialized for intelligence gathering. Nobody need, you guys don't get those. You guys can't be that. You guys are restricted from using that stuff. And it's all because you guys acted like little sociopaths. They were like sitting there going, hey, 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 journalists, as we sit there torturing and speakers and chat. Hey, 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 hey. Look at how we're doing that lately because Donald Trump pedo bangs in office. Hey, hey, hey. That's why you don't get those. You guys get it? So when you guys were blatant about everything that you guys ever did, that is why T-Knock doesn't get shit. You guys get the skanky, leftover, sleazy child trafficking shit that you all started in. And so, as you all broadcast yourselves having to get tortured through a child trafficking route, just remember, there's no group that's accepting one person being tortured around the United States. So, since you guys aren't useful, since you guys don't have anything to add, and since nothing that you people ever did ever meant anything ever in the world, your guys' theories on choosing one person at the end of your guys' Mormon Twilight pedo bang to sit around and to secretly know that you guys are sitting there, finish it off, you guys' pedo bang. We'll suck up everybody into allowance all of us to sit around torturing one guy to death. We'll use Mormon's theory, right? The needs of the money outweigh the needs of the one. And then we'll sit around and go, well, we are important for some weird pedo bang reason. See how simpleton you people are? And just remember, if you guys are accessing people's speakers and trying to convince people of controlling somebody's fucking brain, what kind of psychopath would do that?